Hi, my name is Grant Ryan. I'm working on behalf of Polygraph.network. Um, this is my submission for the Decentraland programming test. I'm calling it that. That's what I'm calling it. The requirements are to have clickable buttons, showcase a text floating with temperatures in Paris, one elevator, one object floating around in circles. I've got two. Hopefully that still meets the requirements. Display an L2 wearable and its name. Include an NPC with a few boxes of dialog. Okay, so I'll just quickly run over the game. I can't show you my code because um, my monitor is too wide. If I show display, it just everything goes all the resolution goes all funny. So I'll just talk it through. I mean, you can see the code in the. I'm going to drop it to my Google Drive, and you'll be able to download it. And I'm also going to host the. Yeah, I'm going to host it on what do you call it? Vercel. Um, but for now, I'll just talk through the basics of the code. Um, Game TS obviously loads imports all the code. The only code that's remaining it's from the original template, and it keeps the rotator system. I've replaced the original rotator system used a get component group that called the component transform. I've changed that to um, a component group called spin, which is added to the elevator button. I think this diagram is. Oh no, it's related. Sorry, the code's a bit. The elevator is actually the actual button, not the elevator. Oh, it's kind of related. Um, so yeah, I've made a new custom component called spin, and that groups the buttons together, and they spin. I'll just show you really quickly what I'm talking about. So here, um, there's one up and there's a down. So the spheres are spinning, and I've attached the text to the spheres. Um, yeah. Okay, getting the Matic NFT, which is I'll just show you really quickly. This is my this is my NFT that someone gave me in an airdrop. I used this is done via API. Um, it calls a fetch to this API, this NFT port, and I've given it the contract address and the ID of the NFT, and it takes that data, which is IPFS hash, and well, it's a JSON with the name and probably the IPFS hash for the image, and I get those two and render it to a plane shape. I think actually I'm missing. I do believe I call the same code that's here. This is this new plane. I probably oops, I'll just do it here. I would call this new plane for the NFT image, and yeah, I'll just leave it like that. Don't touch it. And that would call the plane the text is by itself. Maybe I just created a new plane. I can't remember now. Yeah. So that's that. this was, well, it was the hardest thing to find because it wasn't standing out in the documentation. But if you do a Google search for polygon or L2, which is Matic Polygon, you'll find that this NFT port can do what you want. It was a Yeah, there wasn't any other reference to it in the Decentraland documentation. Um, this I found with this NFT port was the easiest implementation. Um, and next we talked to the NPC Alice. I'm not going to talk too much about this. This is just straight up from the the repo. It's this usual thing. I changed some text. I haven't modified too much deeply into it. Uh, I don't mind if you mark me down on that. I mean, yeah. The scene, you know, um, it was originally very clean when I was using classes, but then I realized that the materials were being every time like this is the problem. And I've started learning I've brought books on the data orientated programming, which I know is like part of the ECS um, way of thinking over object orientated. The problem I found with object orientated is that if you send a material to an object, it counts every single one of those materials is counted once, even if it's the same material used, it gets duplicated the count, and that for the projects that I'm working on, that's really important that I minimize on the amount of materials. So I've had to mess mess around with the code that I originally did and created all the materials in one section and sent a reference to the material. I think that's how I did it. Um, when the planes were instantiated via this new plane code. So the data, yeah. So the materials are here. This is what I'm talking about. The material are distinct, and they're added to an array, I believe. And then I think I iterated through the array when this is the metadata of the transform and all that sort of stuff. It goes to here. It iterates through the array of materials, um, and then it gets. Or let me just have a look at the code. Sorry. Scene. Yeah, load plane. Yeah, yeah. The materials passed to it, and then it's just rendering the planes. Because I'm reusing, I'll show you the textures of the. So I went nuts and just I like this sort of design. So this is a multi-layer plane. So they're quadrants. So each quadrant is a plane. So I there's 4 layers per each quadrant. So that obviously that's more, like for a single parcel there's 20 material, and this exceeds the count. So that's why I had to do that. I guess it's not a requirement, so why am I talking about it? It was just a challenge that I had because I wanted to look this way, and I had to overcome the issue. Um, so I've talked to that guy. I've looked at that. I've got the spinning objects. Oh, the Paris temperature, which is from this API. I have created an account, got the API. They've got some query parameters that you plug in there gives you what you want, which is this 17 degrees in Celsius. in Paris temperature. Um, and yeah, this works. So reusing this code for the lift is it's like this tricky thing to. It's like an ECS thing. The code is the same, but it's the reference to the up and down. They're a component group. I think I mentioned that. Elevator. Yeah, so this spin component group. They both share the same thing, but they're obviously different buttons and they do different things. So yeah, that works quite well. Yep, and that concludes my DCL presentation. Thank you. Oh, so sorry, before you don't hang up. Um, yeah, I want to ask. We want to make a request to um, if I could be added to the beta testers for the the ECS7 or the DCL SDK7. If you could invite me, GDR Frost, that would be awesome. All right, thanks. Bye.